school now. Main entry, but
So you gotta ring the doorbell.
we have to go in through the other door.
This one right here.
Okay.
Oh, and ring the doorbell.
Oh, visitor entrance. Beep. Oh, okay.
This is me, Katelyn, and my fellow reporter Bernie outside of Pan American International High School in Elmhurst, Queens.
October 30th, it's around 9 a.m. I'm a little scared, but I'm like mostly excited to just meet the students. Okay, thank you. We're inside the school now.
Oh my gosh, it is so cool in here. There's like a little lounge area right now. There's students sitting at tables doing their work.
The walls are bright yellow. The sun is shining directly at us through large windows. In a display case, pumpkins painted to resemble horror movie characters and Disney villains catch our eye. As we walk toward the main office, we notice a bulletin board.
So they have it up. The student overall attendance, 95%. The student in-person attendance, 96%. Student remote attendance, 94%. Students chronically absent, 15%. And teacher attendance, 99%. Oh my goodness.
School attendance is down significantly in New York City and across the country right now. The pandemic led to a huge drop, and years later, attendance has not returned to pre-COVID levels. Our quest to understand why and what we can do about it led us here, to Pan American, a small high school for recent arrivals to the country, in Queens. Students struggle with attendance for all sorts of reasons. My fellow reporters and I recently asked some of our classmates about this. If you're comfortable sharing, what are some reasons that you've been absent in the past?
The weather, me being sick, and me staying home because of the dread of having to wake up to go to school.
If I'm being honest, I went to the psychiatry ward a lot, and it was just like mental health reasons. I just had to take care of myself. And that had a big toll on my attendance.
There were some days I had to travel. Some days I just wanted to take like little mental breaks because, you know, being in early college, stuff is be crazy. But yeah, so a lot of days actually. It was a lot.
I get sick a lot, so that's pretty bad. I know sometimes I can't do it. Like, I just can't muster up the strength to get out of bed and come to school.
Many students at Pan American International High School have struggled with attendance too. But the school has done something about it. Well, several somethings. In fact, Pan American, a school full of recent immigrants, English language learners, and many experiencing poverty and unstable housing, has among the highest student attendance rates in the whole city. Want to know how they did it? I'm Caitlin Melville, a senior at the Brooklyn Institute for Liberal Arts.
I'm Kelsi Bowen, a senior at Bard High School Early College, Manhattan.
I'm Bernie Carmona, a senior at Beacon High School.
From the Miseducation podcast, this is Roll Call, an exploration of student attendance and engagement in New York City public schools, and one international high school that continues to show up for its students. I promise we're returning to Pan American, but first, we need to provide some context on this school attendance issue. To start, there's this term we've been hearing a lot from adults recently.
Tonight we're breaking down a troubling new report highlighting the issue of chronic absenteeism among students here in the state.
Thousands of students in the city missed a lot of school this year due to COVID. And
chronic absenteeism is plaguing our schools. More districts are reporting students missing.
1 in 3 students was chronically absent from school.
Kelsi, you've done your homework on chronic absenteeism. What should we know?
So, a student is defined as chronically absent if they miss at least 10% of the total days in the school year. That's like 1 day every 2 weeks.
Wow, I think that means I'm chronically absent.
Right? And I've gotten the same reactions from students at my school.
So what comes to your mind when you think of someone who is chronically absent?
I think that's pretty ridiculous. I feel like chronic is it sounds much more severe. I think if it was to be chronic, it should be a month of school. It also should have to do with consecutiveness, because I haven't missed a consecutive week or 2 weeks of school, just days here and there,
I guess it could represent somebody who just doesn't care for school or coming to school, but also because I've been chronically absent, I know that's not necessarily the case. Speaking from personal experience, I know that
I do care about school and I care about my grades and like being at school, but sometimes I genuinely can't make it because I get sick quite often.
Like, anytime someone skips schools, I don't just think, oh, they're a bad kid. I always think that there's something more going on.
So is this a situation where the adults are making a big fuss about something that isn't all that important?
Well, I wouldn't go that far. Studies show that chronic absenteeism has been linked to poor long-term health, fewer job prospects, and increased likelihood of arrest and incarceration. Students who attend school regularly perform better academically. They can keep up with lessons and assignments, participate in class discussions, and grasp complete concepts. School attendance also has an impact on young children's social skills. School is where kids learn to interact with their peers, negotiate, and build relationships. When kids regularly miss school, these opportunities to interact are not only lost to the students who are absent, but also to the students who show up.
I mean, this all makes sense, and I get it. My classes feel so boring and empty when even just 4 to 5 kids are missing. It bums out the whole class, and we're all less motivated. So, Kelsi, I know this has become more of an issue since COVID. What's the big picture?
In New York City, before the pandemic, about 25% of students were chronically absent. When students returned to in-person school in the 2021 to 2022 school year, chronic absenteeism rates jumped to about 40%. The whole country saw similar spikes, and the numbers are still high.
And what are schools doing about it?
Honestly, all sorts of stuff. Some things schools have done include carefully evaluating the needs of at-risk students, using restorative practices to support students who miss school regularly instead of punishing them, peer-to-peer counseling, home visits, social events, and incentives like morning raffles. But the results have been mixed. There are still huge disparities in attendance rates.
Thanks for the overview, Kelsi. I want to look more into these disparities you mentioned. Bernie, where should we begin?
Flashback to the beginning of October. Kelsi, Katelyn, and I are sitting in a conference room huddled around a laptop. We're looking at this giant spreadsheet that has a whole load of demographics and attendance rates for all New York City high schools. Almost 500 of them. The questions we're trying to answer? Which New York City schools have the lowest chronic absenteeism rates? And are there any outliers?
As we're looking through these schools, we're finding some interesting trends.
The schools with the lowest absenteeism rates tend to have fewer students with disabilities, fewer English language learners, lower rates of students experiencing poverty, and higher populations of white and Asian students.
Honestly, it isn't that surprising that the schools with the best attendance rates are selective schools that screen for good grades or test scores, like Stuyvesant and Townsend Harris.
After over an hour of staring at our screens, long enough that the spreadsheet becomes a black and white blur, one school catches our attention: Pan American International High School. The school-wide chronic absenteeism rate? 14.6%.
That's lower than 3 specialized high schools: Brooklyn Technical High School, LaGuardia High School of Music and Art, and the Brooklyn Latin School.
Unlike these schools, 91% of Pan American student population are English language learners. More than 95% live in poverty, and over 98% are Latinx or Hispanic.
We were looking for an outlier, and we found it.
Pan American is one of several dozen high schools in New York City that primarily serves English language learners. It's part of the Internationals Network, a group of schools dedicated to educating newcomers to the country and providing multilingual instruction. Since 2022, as New York City has welcomed over 40,000 newly arrived migrant students, Pan American's enrollment has grown by almost 40%. And despite the challenges that these new students are facing, Pan American has maintained stellar attendance rates, best of any international high school by far.
At this point, there's only one question on our minds. What is going on at Pan American to make these students want to come to school? There's only one way to find out: to go to Pan American to see for ourselves. And that's where we're headed, after this short break.
Hey guys, it's Kelsi here. I love being a part of the Miss Education program because it's given me hands-on experience creating a podcast from scratch. It's my dream to work in the journalism field one day, and this program is helping me turn that dream into a reality. You can help more student journalists like me by visiting give.bellvoices.org and sending us a donation. No amount is too small or too big. That's give.bellvoices.org. Thank you so much. Now back to the episode. Over to you, Bernie.
We're back inside Pan American. Striding toward us in a rust brown sweater, jeans, and black heels that click against the floor is Carla Pina.
Hi.
Good morning. Welcome to our school. I'm Carla Pina. I'm one of the social workers here at Pan American.
Carla helped us coordinate our visit. She leads us into an office suite where she introduces us to 3 Pan American students, who each struggled with attendance at one point. All 3 of the students prefer to speak in Spanish. So Carla and her colleague, Katelyn Villalobos, help us translate, and I conduct my interview in Spanish.
Mi nombre es Julio y llegué en el 2000.
His name is Julio, and he arrived in 2020 to Pan American. He's from Ecuador.
Mi nombre es Katelyn Plata y yo soy de Colombia.
My name is Kathleen Plata and I am in 11th grade. I am from Colombia. Colombia is a nice country and very diverse.
Mi nombre es Jaime Cabrera.
My name is Jaime Cabrera. I'm a student here at Pan American. I'm in 12th grade. The stories they tell us allow us to understand what's behind the attendance numbers on the spreadsheet. We're going to hear their stories, one by one. First up, here's Julio talking to Katelyn.
I just want to start with an icebreaker. So, what is something that made you smile or laugh today?
Despertarme y ver que Dios me dio un día más de vida.
Waking up and seeing that God gave me another day of life.
That is so beautiful. Thank you. Julio is swagged out with fashionable ripped jeans, a crisp white jacket, and stud earrings. Beneath his cool exterior is a passionate, athletic student. Julio was born in Ecuador. He arrived in the U.S. in 2019 and enrolled at Pan American in 2020. I asked him about his commute to school.
Tengo que tomar varios transportes porque vivo a dos.
He needs to take various forms of transportation because he lives 2 hours from here. ¿Dónde vives?
En Staten Island.
He lives in Staten Island.
Wait, what?
Varios días me dormí en los trenes.
So many times he's actually fallen asleep on his commute because it's so long. He falls asleep and oftentimes wakes up in another part and then has to travel back to then get to school or home.
Y me tardó mucho más tiempo.
2 hours each morning to get to school. Wow. When we spoke to Carla before this, she mentioned that you used to miss school and cut class a lot. What prompted you to do that?
Era porque yo quería, me obligaba, pero también influía en las amistades.
So he's honest, he would have friendships that would influence him. He would let himself get influenced by various friendships he was holding at the time. So he would follow what they would do. He didn't feel at that moment he had somebody to kind of guide him back into the path he needed to be in.
Me vuelva a la realidad.
Julio makes an interesting point. It's like skipping school or cutting class can be contagious. But then Julio's story takes a positive turn. What do you think helped the most with your attendance?
Yo, en lo personal, yo creo que el deporte. El deporte me enfocó en
joining the team, being able to participate in sports in the school has helped his mind, his body, his soul. He feels he was able to find alternatives, and it really supported him and just changed his life around.
Is there one sport you like in particular, like your favorite?
Football.
Soccer.
Julio loves soccer. His face lights up when he talks about it.
Yo lo siento, es como que exclusivo estar en.
It's very exclusive to be part of this team, and it's very empowering, and it's like very living. It makes me live.
Se siente en el cuerpo.
As a small school, Pan American doesn't have its own soccer team, but there's a citywide policy that allows students at schools without certain sports teams to join teams at other schools nearby. In Julio's case, that means playing soccer for Newtown High School, just a 10-minute walk away. As a side note, we've covered New York City Public School sports access in other episodes of Miseducation, if you'd like to check them out. Newtown requires that all their athletes, even those from other schools, have solid grades and good attendance. That's where Pan American's Dean of Students, Steve Espaillat, comes in.
Sí, cuando empecé en el tema de los deportes.
I started the journey with Mr. Espaillat in sports. He would ask me for my schedule, my grades. He would check them. He would be monitoring that aspect and encouraging me to be here every day and raise my grades.
Dean Espaillat serves as the point person for connecting Pan American students with Newtown sports teams. He often monitors the grades and attendance of Pan American players. But for students like Julio, the dean plays a much bigger role.
Es como mi mentor, él es como que todo para mí.
He's like his mentor. He's taken him out of many things that he shouldn't have once been in. He's trusted in him, and maybe he didn't deserve that trust, but he did. He's so grateful for all the opportunities he's given him.
Julio's experience demonstrates the value of school sports and extracurriculars in general when it comes to attendance. The New York City Department of Education actually measures how satisfied students are with their school's offerings of programs and activities. It's one of the questions in an annual school survey students take. The percentage of Pan American students who agreed or strongly agreed with the statement, "This school offers a wide enough variety of programs, classes, and activities to keep me interested in school," was 95%. Well above average.
While Katelyn is talking to Julio, I'm sitting with Jaime in a counselor's office next door. Jaime is a 12th grader at Pan American. He's tall and comfortable in a black hoodie. At first, he looks a bit serious and reserved, but relaxes when I start speaking to him in Spanish. I start by asking him how his friends would describe him.
Soy muy random.
I think they would say I'm very random. I tell a lot of jokes. I'm a person who always likes to have a sense of humor, but to a certain degree. Jaime was born and raised in Ecuador. He moved to the United States around 5 years ago.
Al principio era muy difícil, sobre todo porque
It was really hard at first, especially because some people here don't care if you don't know English.
no sepas inglés.
But Pan American became familiar over time.
Y el ambiente aquí del colegio sí me gusta bastante. Es un ambiente muy tranquilo.
The atmosphere at school is very calm. There aren't many problems or anything. We all get along well between the students, and the teachers are super nice people. However, last year, in 11th grade, Jaime started missing a lot of school.
Hubo un tiempo donde al principio faltaba demasiado.
There was a time when I was late for school constantly. I would arrive at 12 or 1 in the afternoon, and they told me, "Hey Jaime, we're going to have to call your house because you've been coming in too late." And the truth is, I was late, for the simple reason that I didn't want to come. I was too lazy to get up. Pan American's parent coordinator, Juana Adam, tracks attendance very closely. Like, very closely. She reviews attendance rosters daily and scans them to see which students are missing. Then she calls up the missing students' families to find out why their child is absent. Juana reached out to Carla, the social worker, when she noticed that Jaime's attendance had become spotty.
It was through various attempts of contacting him and finally him coming that Juana did ask me to sustain a conversation with him.
Once Carla was able to speak to Jaime, she learned that there was a bigger story behind his absences. Here's how Jaime explains it.
En ese tiempo fallecieron familiares súper cercanos a mí, que a mí me afectó mucho.
I lost a family member, which affected me a lot and was a very serious blow. It's not like it got to the point of saying I wanted to kill myself, but it got to the point where I didn't know what to do with my life. Carla provided Jaime with a safe space to talk through his grief. She describes this as a turning point for him,
in which he expressed feeling depressed and feeling down and not connected in school in relation to the recent loss that he had at the time. And we explored therapeutic services. He, was offered the opportunity to start therapy, but it was through a session that we held when we were able to get him back into the building.
Once he started coming back to school regularly, finding new routines really helped Jaime regain motivation. He and a friend started going to a neighborhood gym at 5 in the morning before school started.
A veces como que ni me quería levantar, pero era como que mi amigo me llamaba.
At first, I didn't want to wake up because I was staying up so late, but my friend would call me and tell me to get up. He's made gains at the gym and at school. His confidence in speaking English has grown.
Hay eventos del colegio donde nos llevan a otras partes.
There are school events where they take us somewhere else, like when we have to go play in the marching band in Manhattan. These events alone help me a lot to improve my English, because I meet people who don't speak Spanish at all. Jaime is grateful to Pan American.
La verdad es que
I think the truth is that yes, I am still improving. But these classes don't just help you learn English, but also help you prepare for your future. He's determined to enjoy his senior year before going off to college and studying nutrition science. For our last interview, I'll hand it off to Kelsi.
I sit on a couch next to Kathleen, an 11th grader at Pan American. She has red-dyed hair, a nose piercing, and a soft yet nervous smile. Kathleen's face lights up when we talk about her home country, Colombia.
En Colombia me gusta comer y mi comida favorita.
She likes eating. She enjoys eating in Colombia, and her favorite thing to eat in Colombia in Spanish is called lulada. It's kind of like a drink, actually.
Can you recall your first couple of months of school? How did it feel to go to a school in a new country?
Y pues estaba nerviosa porque pues obviamente
she was nervous for sure because it's a new country, new culture, new school. What was challenging for her was definitely the language, the English, learning it.
As we talk more about the challenges she faced, she opens up about a day in early 2024 that she remembers clearly.
El 14 de febrero que como
she remembers it was February 14. She had an anxiety attack. There was a situation that happened here in the school, and she felt like she didn't want to come back to school.
Kathleen's anxiety attack sent her to the hospital, and she was out of school for weeks. I wanted to know how Pan American helped her get through this difficult time.
Miss Piña y Miss Juana,
who helped her refocus and come back to school, was our school social worker, Miss Piña, and our parent coordinator, Juana Adames.
Pues, o sea, me sentía como
But she recalls that Miss Piña would often have conversations with her about the importance of school, and that when she does return, the workload won't be so heavy because the school knew what she was going through.
After Kathleen returned from the hospital, Carla and Juana helped her set up a 504 plan to make her transition back to school easier. A 504 is a formal plan schools create to support students with disabilities or conditions that significantly impact their daily activities.
Pues el plan es lo que me ayuda como
she says that she suffers from anxiety, and so that's something that would keep her home often, but with this accelerated plan that she has now, she's more focused and wants it, and that pushes her to be here in school.
Carla explains.
And we created a plan for her to take breaks when she needed to take breaks and come by, and there was days where she didn't feel so well, so she would message me, say, I'm not going to come in today.
Having the assurance from Carla and other adults at Pan American that she wasn't in trouble, that it was okay to prioritize her mental health, made a big difference.
Pues es una escuela que ayuda mucho.
This school is very good in supporting me in terms of mental health and academically.
From Carla's perspective,
this year she's just bloomed incredibly. She's very connected. She's very determined about graduating. She's working. She's focused. Emotionally, she's a lot stronger, and she's determined.
In addition to the staff support, Kathleen's 504 plan includes extra classes to help her graduate early.
Porque pues me ayuda a graduarme más rápido y entrar a la universidad.
So she's very excited and motivated because she wants this plan to be able to graduate faster so that she can go to college.
Are there any colleges you're interested in?
La Guardia y Queens College y Queens College.
She's interested in LaGuardia College, Queens College, and Queensboro Community College.
That's good.
No, la verdad, no me veía haciendo nada. O sea, yo pensé...
She would have never seen herself doing an 11th and 12th grade plans or finishing school. She actually even thought of maybe like transferring schools, but now that's all changed and she feels very comfortable here.
Talking to Julio, Jaime, and Kathleen, one thing is clear. The relationships that the staff at Pan American forge with their students, the careful attention they pay to every single one, it's incredibly impactful. However, Pan American wasn't always the poster school that it is today. Back in the early 2010s, the school was struggling with student achievement. High school exit exam scores, proficiency levels in core classes, and graduation rates were all concerningly low. Plus, attendance was a big issue.
So we had a lot of students that at the time were LTA, long-term absences, and it was a very big challenge in reconnecting them in school.
Carla again.
I myself was assigned a student that was LTA, so I took that very seriously, right? My first year working here, and I did a home visit for that student, and indeed, the student was in a lot of need. I had to make my first referral to the hospital, a first psychiatric referral, because I was fearful that this student could end his life. I did not feel he was safe.
The year that Carla started working at Pan American, 2014, Mayor Bill de Blasio launched the Community Schools Initiative to improve the city's struggling schools. Those identified as needing an intervention would be paired with community-based organizations, which would provide services tailored to each school's needs. Pan American was one of these schools.
So I think one of the most important aspects of our school community and one of the reasons why we thrive is because we have such strong community partnerships with a variety of different organizations in our community.
That's Ms. Velez, the principal.
We partner with so many different CBOs, community-based organizations, and they provide food services, pantry services, legal services, housing services, anything that a family may need when they walk through the doors. We have an organization that we partner with to be able to provide that support for families.
With the funding and resources granted to them through this initiative, Pan American's administration was also able to hire 2 full-time therapists. This additional mental health support has been critical to Pan American's success. Carla explains.
Our students are newly arrived, so there's various needs that they have. The trajectory to this country for some of them has been very traumatizing, so ensuring that their social emotional well-being is being taken care of, that we are incorporating services for students that are at risk.
And what are those services?
So we have a social emotional assessment that we conduct twice a year. We do it in the fall and we do it in the spring. And the purpose of this assessment is to truly delve into the needs our students are currently having. How are they feeling emotionally? Is it that maybe they're at risk and we need to connect them to individual services? Is it that they're borderline and perhaps we can support them with some sort of group during lunch? Or all of our counselors and social workers, we push into advisory once a week where we talk about these topics. So we kind of gear our curriculum towards these needs that we also see from our assessment.
The school also surveys families to understand their needs.
The top ones are food pantry, access to food.
Ms. Velez, the principal, again.
And so we have a wonderful relationship with a local CBO called La Jornada. And they also support us with helping families with fresh food with their food service delivery program. So when parents come in, what do you need? Do you need, a food card, right? We have that. Do you need this? Do you need clothing? We have that. Whatever it is that they need, we have that available. And so parents know that we're a resource and they're more likely to keep coming back and keep connecting with us.
Pan American's community-based organization partners are also active in providing the school's undocumented students and families with crucial legal information.
Not all, a very high number of our students are undocumented. So education on that part is very important, educating them on their rights even. So we do provide that support. We have a great relationship with Make the Road New York, which is able to provide that information and workshops, not only to our students, but our families.
Another benefit of being a community school?
We've been able to partner with many of them to provide either stipended internships for students, and that's been really, really successful.
Internships are so crucial because many students enrolling at Pan American need to earn money to help support their families. If a student isn't coming to school because they're working a part-time job, the staff will help them find work at Pan American. For example, Carla told us about a student who gets paid working as a helper for one of Pan American's after-school programs. It's a win-win. Between careful tracking of attendance, paid internships for students, English classes for parents, food pantries, supportive deans, caring teachers, and enriching extracurriculars, it's no wonder Pan American has such amazing attendance. But that doesn't mean the school doesn't have a tough road ahead.
When we visited Pan American, it was a few days before the 2024 presidential election, and we've been thinking about the staff and students there ever since. We followed up with Carla a couple weeks later to see how the Pan American community has been grappling with the incoming administration's promised deportations and the anti-immigration rhetoric and policies that are all over the news and social media right now.
It has been a very difficult couple last week processing the elections. Our students have, some have expressed concern. We try to validate their feelings and assure them that we are a safe space. So we definitely had follow-up conversations in our advisory class, post-election, what to expect, how will we respond as a school. I would say that we work in a very beautiful community. We're here together and just being grateful for the community we've been able to build, the future leaders that we're going to continue to build, and that even though we might have a new administration and it hits home for our school, our home, we're going to persevere and we're going to continue to educate ourselves and stay focused on that goal of educating them.
As we say our goodbyes and head towards the front gates from which we entered, one thing we come away realizing is that for students and faculty, Pan American feels like home. We heard it from the students.
Nunca pensé en sentirme así y tampoco.
He never thought he was going to feel this way. He didn't think this was ever going to happen. He didn't know he was going to get this far, be able to accomplish this many things. And he couldn't imagine this.
And we heard it from the staff.
They motivate me. And every time that I am down or I seem to kind of lose track, I have one of those kids walk into my office and have that sit down, and it just reminds me of why I'm here. So Pan American is a beautiful place. These children are beautiful kids, and I'm glad that you guys were able to hear it directly from them.
We find a shady spot beneath a colorful mural in the courtyard to reflect on what we've just heard.
All right, guys, it's the end of the interviews. We're standing in front of a Queen's mural at Elmhurst International Campus. So, how are you guys feeling?
I feel whole. I don't you know what I mean? Talking to the staff and talking to the students made me feel whole. It was such a beautiful experience, and I'm so glad that we got to see the inside of a school that's doing so well.
This is real stuff. You can see the community, you can see the activities, you can see the kids having fun. How school strives to be, and the support that the students have, I think is so amazing. I've never seen that or heard of that in any other school. The school has a lot of support teams in place to support these kids and ensure that they do good, ensure that they survive, not just in school, but also outside.
It's a family. It's one really big family.
Yes. Yeah. Kids are coming from different countries and they're coming here, and they initially they struggle so much with feeling comfortable and also just learning English. And they come here and they feel at home. They feel comfortable.
I mean, right now we're seeing kids playing soccer. I just feel like that's such a nice thing to have. And like Kelsi said, if my school had more of an intention to bring the school community together, it would really impact the school for good.
Before we go, Kelsi, Bernie, what takeaways do you want to share with our listeners?
I really think that the way adults frame this whole issue reflects a lack of authentic engagement with students. Like we talked about, the term chronic absenteeism sounds accusatory and stigmatizing to students. It sounds like an identity marker that is stamped onto you and you can't erase it. Students are facing real issues, and instead of understanding them, a lot of schools write them off as kids who are skipping and cutting class. Ask them why they're absent.
I agree. Chronic sounds permanent. But clearly the students we met at Pan American made a turnaround. Now, they're chronically present.
As students, we've all heard the lectures about how missing school is bad for us. But the way we talk about attendance really matters. We should be promoting attendance instead of punishing absences. If you really want students to come to school, show us why it matters and help us feel like being there is worthwhile.
In schools, talk to your students. Get to know them. Not just as students, but as people. What is their role in their family, their jobs? These students have identities that intersect with each other. They may have home responsibilities, environmental challenges that may impact their ability to show up to school on time or even at all.
To my fellow students, you need to come to school. But you are not a criminal for missing it. You're a person. We want to center your voices. We know there are things going on that are outside of your control. Want to know why? Because we hear you, we see you, we are you.
If you or someone you know needs access to immediate mental health care, you can always call 988. Miseducation is a program of The Bell. Our work is made possible by generous support from the Pinkerton Foundation, the Summerfield Foundation, FJC, and Hindenburg Systems. Special thanks to College Board. We want to send a big thank you to the staff and students at Pan American International High School in Elmhurst for allowing us to interview them for this episode. This episode was hosted and reported by me, Caitlin Melville,
and me, Bernie Carmona,
and me, Kelsi Bowen.
It was produced by Sabrina DeKenney and Mira Gordon. Our executive editor is Taylor McGraw. Thank you so much to Erica Wong and David Herman at Good Studio. Special thanks to Sari Soffer-Supnik. Music from Blue Dot Sessions. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.